Went home.
Yeah, went home.
So how did you decide to come to Push? Because we know from Flint what happened.
Hey, look.
I understand.
I'm running for my life. They got a warrant out for my arrest. They came to my apartment. I wasn't in there on December the 4th. At 5 a.m. on December the 5th, they came again to my apartment, shut my door down, and if I had been in that apartment,
you would have been dead.
I would have been dead again on December the 5th. So I'm running for my life. I'm hiding out. All right, I'm hiding out on the Gold Coast. I'm hiding out. Father Clement is hiding me out in the sanctuary at Holy Angel. I'm running for my life. So Kermit Coleman, Attorney Kermit Coleman, Renault Robinson, Howard Saffold, and my attorneys.
Hold on. Renault Robinson and Howard Saffold were head of the African-American Patrolmen's League. Just so you know.
My attorneys went to them and said, we got to figure out a way to save Bobby. All right? And so they came up with the idea that on that Saturday morning.
Like this Saturday morning.
And as a matter of fact, Jeanette, let me say this.
No, I'm serious. This is serious.
No, let me say this. It was the same Saturday morning, exactly 55 years ago, on December the 7th, 1969, that I turned myself into Operation Push. The same Saturday morning.
That's right.
And I turned myself into Operation Push. We had a black commander of the 2nd District, Commander Lemon. I turned myself into him, and I remember Reverend Jackson telling him when he turned me over to him, he said, I want you to look at him.
That's right.
He was talking about me. So ain't a scratch on him.
That's right.
He ain't got no wounds. He's voluntary. He's voluntary to turn himself in, and when he leaves, he better look the same way.
That's right. And that's why he's still here today, because he surrendered here. And that's one of the reasons that Push is so important. We've had lawyers. When I say Attorney Montgomery, he made every young lawyer he saw come to Push and not charge, but volunteer their services to represent people. And G. Flint Taylor, the whole People's Law Office would be here. And that's why when you come here, you come for a bag today, but it may be something else tomorrow. We're here, people united to serve. Going this way, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, say that.
Oh, all right. That's why we're here, and I know you're saying, I got to get my bag, I got to go. We understand, and we're not trying to burden you, we're just trying to share information. Because somebody in your family may need some legal advice. Somebody in your family may need a job. Somebody in your family might need somebody to fight for them, as we stood with retired Congressman Bobby Rush. And who would have thought a former Panther would go to the United States House of Representatives? Who would have thought that? I'm sorry. And wait a minute. Now, I know you wonder why we got all these people up here. He's a witness to what happened. This professor, most professors, you don't see them outside of the classroom. This professor, Robert Starks, was at the Task Force for Black Political Empowerment, BIPO. And every Tuesday night, they'd have meetings in the basement of Northeastern University, which we thought was a black school right there on 39th Street. Professor Starks, what do you know about the Panther?
Well, at the time that the assassination occurred, I was living across the street from Reverend Jackson, and I remember the activity that went on in that apartment after that assassination. I mean, we had people coming in and out of the building all the time. And then Congressman Davis and I were very close to the Palmers, Lou and Georgia. and Lou Palmer. And of course, Reverend Jackson, Georgia Palmer came up with the idea of supporting the opponent to Hanrahan. And it was Danny and I who took the leaflets out on the streets and got on the radio. Congressman Davis. I called him Danny because I knew him before he became a congressman. But anyway, we organized on the west side, the south side, the north side, all over the city. And finally, African Americans came out in strong numbers against Hanrahan, and we were quite happy about it. Now, the thing that I remember the most was, again, the activity that went on in the Jackson household, because, again, I lived across the street from them, and I remember the little kids.
He's talking about Santita.
Santita being,
Jonathan.
and Johnny. And we,
Congressman Jonathan and Santita.
Congressman.
And former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr.
Right. But
no, he wasn't there
no,
yet.
he wasn't born yet.
We got to.
But it was a very exciting time, and it was a very sad time. And we remember very colorfully that then Danny Davis, now Congressman Davis, and his group on the west side were in total despair at the assassination. And the first active group was on the west side of the city of Chicago and Maywood. And of course, that spread from the west side through the rest of the city. And in a matter of 24 hours, it was a national issue. And people were calling us from all over the country saying, what happened? What can we do to help? And we raised money. We did the leaflets on the side, on the street, and the whole bit. So it was a time when we began the political change in the city, which led to Reverend Jackson running for president, and of course, Barack Obama becoming the first African-American president of the United States.
Well, and the reason the state's attorney of Cook County, we didn't just organize Chicago, it was all over Cook County. That's why they talk about Waukegan and in the western suburbs, the southern suburbs that are in Cook County. One of the things that has happened, you go from Fred Hampton all the way to Carol Moseley Braun.
Exactly.
And all the way to the Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox that is now retiring, first African-American female state's attorney in Cook County. That's a direct correlation between this action and how we move politically, how we began to organize. And so Professor Starks is being very modest. We had classes every week because we didn't know how to vote and we didn't know how to change our votes and stuff. Many of you don't know why you should register. That's what we did here.
Let me just put this in the right perspective.
Yes, sir.
All right. Up until Edward Hanrahan and J. Edgar Hoover and the Chicago Police Department assassinated Fred Hampton. Now let me just say this. Fred Hampton, his assassination was the only assassination in American history that was an official act of the United States government.
Yes.
Abraham Lincoln wasn't an official act. Dr. King,
Not official act.
not an official act. Kennedy's, both of them, not an official act.
As such.
Only Fred Hampton. Why do we call it that? Because J. Edgar Hoover rewarded, gave bonuses to the people who carried that assassination out. And he didn't give it out of his personal money. It came out of American taxpayers' pocket. Only official one. Now,
So hold on. I got to get the other two, and we can't stay all day. And see, when you get